Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day. This is Robert Hollis, and I'm looking forward for people getting on here. And the subject for today, there we go. The subject for today is the six higher faculties. So there we are. I see me on there. I'll look on the comments here. There we go. And all right. I don't know what's happening. But anyway, the six higher faculties, and today we're going to talk about perception. And, one of the things is, hello, Eric. It's great to see you on here. And now I get to see people on here. There we go. Hi, Rosa. Hi, Eric. Hi, Nicholas. Hi, Zoltan. See you on here. That's great. Hey, Melody. I love and appreciate you, praying for you every day. So, we all know that there's, the normal senses, right? Where we have sight, hearing, smell, touch, taste, right? There's six higher faculties that I'm going to talk about in the next couple of days. And you guys will really, really get a kick out of them because it really, really changed the way I thought. And we know that thought is things, right? And so the one we're talking about today is perception. And the very first story I want to tell each and every one of you about is, my very first mentor. My very first mentor was a guy named Roger Penske. He's a multi-billionaire. When I met him, you want to talk about vision. Oh my God. This guy had a vision of making sure that his race cars finished 1, 2, and 3 at the Indianapolis 500. And that's when I was working with him. And guess what? We made it happen. So if I could give anyone credit for the one phrase that I consistently say is if what you know that you know that you know is a fact, if you just know that you know that you know it, and it wasn't true, when would you like to know? Now, a lot of people say that they want to know right away. Tell me right now. But what it does is it changes your perception. It changes your thoughts. It changes your paradigm. And there's been a lot of those ones that I have had throughout my years where I knew that I knew that I knew. And it usually was because I grew up in a culture. I grew up where everyone did business a certain way. I'll give you a perfect one. I was told that education was not important. Education is not important. The reason why is that you go to school to get a job. You go to school to get a job. Did you guys hear that? You go to school to get a job. So if you can get a job, then you don't need to go to school. And so the very first thing that you think about is, okay, so is this true? Is this true? And all my uncles were extremely successful, and they also all owned their own companies. Are you guys listening to me? And so all the people that I knew that were the closest to me, they were very successful at owning their own business, or should I say, making above average income. You know what I mean? And so there is not only proof of that, but there's also documentation of that. Now, the first thing that I learned is it would happen, and I'm going to reach out to my Uncle Sid for this because I don't think that he totally understood what he did. So I grew up in Williston, North Dakota, and we had these oil fields, right? And still to this day, the Bakken oil field is one of the largest oil reserves on the planet, right? So you can understand that I got taught at a very early age when the world said that we were running out of oil, and I seen these lines on TV at the gas stations in California. I was around a group of people where they told me, listen, you cannot believe the media. You cannot believe the media. They just basically got us to stop drilling and stop, pumping the oil out of the ground because of political reasons, powers that are out there. And it's funny because every time we need more oil, they can open up the oil fields and they're right back there, So it's really interesting when you see gas prices go up and down and everyone's got an opinion. You see what I mean? They have an opinion that usually comes from a perception. So when I met my, billionaire mentor, Roger Penske, he just said to me, listen, Robert, I'm going to teach you something. And it's called the third. So 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. If you guys love fractions, you know what I mean? That would be 33 and what? 0.3. You know what I mean? 0.3333333, right? 33 and a third, 0.3. So anyway, he was saying it's miraculous that regardless of the subject, listen closely, regardless of the subject, we always hear about 40% or 49% versus 51%, whether it's in the government, whether it's around an election, whether it's a political party, whether it's about, oh my God, Will Smith, smacking Chris Rock. Do you guys realize that there's a large group of people that are for both sides? Pretty interesting. And so we always hear about this 50-50 split, this 49, these two camps, these two groups of people that are battling each other. But what they never talk about is there really a third and a third and the other third that doesn't wish to give their opinion. They're not watching media. They don't even know it's going on. They could care less. So even when you look at an election, it's pretty crazy that we don't see everyone that's 18 years of age or older that's in the United States. We don't see that many votes. No, we don't. We see that third and that third again, and the other third is just out there. So why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing it up for two incredible reasons. Is the older that I get, I start realizing that there's this large, enormous group of people, let's say 60%. So if we got a third and a third, I guess some of you that are really geeks like me, we could say 66.6%, right? Of the people, 1,000% either don't give a rip about your feelings and your opinions, and half of that group will do everything in their power to go against your feelings. Then there's a small percent, it's funny it all works in threes, there's 3% of that 33 and a third percent that flat out is violently opposed to whatever you think about it. So we brought out not only the concept of politics, or maybe something that happened, or some issue on the planet. We constantly see this competition and this division between two groups and the other group that doesn't participate. But what you need to understand is that if you get involved in anything, including religion, that you're going to have these groups of people that are just totally against you. So what ends up happening is you get involved and you learn. It's called ignorance. Ignorance is not a bad word. It means that you don't know that you don't know. And what you basically do is you get exposed to information that the majority of the people do not know. They do not know. So we sort of get freaked out a little bit. Here I am, 35 years old. I find out that someone, 27 years old, 35 years ago. That's where that number in my head came from. So at the age of 27, I meet a person that's probably in their mid-30s, right? And he shows me documentation of him making $62,000 for a month. It was attached to the stub. It significantly, emotionally, it's called a significant emotional event, a C. It emotionally shook me to the core. Why? Because this went against every bit of belief and perception that I had. Sort of like the science of getting rich, just like Think and Grow Rich, where it says, listen, you don't have to be smart to be wealthy. What? What are you talking about? Robert, you don't need money to make money. Huh? What? You don't have to be good looking. You don't have to know people. They always say it's not what you do, it's who you know, right? That's not true. But then I got to get educated. No. Really? See, all this stuff goes against our programming. And when it goes against our programming, it messes with our belief system. You see what I mean? So then people say, Robert, listen, you can go to work and make 10 grand in your first 30 days. And I'm going like, no, that's not how it works. Why? Well, I'm worth 4 grand a month. I'm an auto mechanic. I'm not that smart. I have a learning disability. I'm dyslexic. I'm good with my hands. I'm not a people person. I'm an introvert. I'm a Pisces. People got all these excuses and these tags that they put on themselves that they believe, listen closely, they believe is a 100% true. They'd be willing to fight for their right. People would rather be right than be happy. They would rather be right than make money. They'd rather be right than healthy. And they pick whatever program that they are attached to. And then what they do is they go out in the world and they look for people to validate their thoughts, validate their belief. Because if you hang around a bunch of people that think like you and act like you, then you get into a team dynamic and you're against the world. It's always us against the world. Us against the world. So when my mentor taught me this, it's like I knew about it right away. You know, a bunch of my relatives were and my friends were really mad at me because I went to trade school. I became a master automotive technician. I was the only person that got out of that construction world, plumbing world. I don't know of anyone of my cousins that actually went to college. And so I went out and took these extra things. And then the next thing I know, I'm in California working for a billionaire, Roger Penske. And he sets me down and says, Robert, you just need to understand that there's 66.6% of the people in the world. And what? 6% of those, it's always the point, that would beat your butt. They would kick your butt for your beliefs. And he goes, I just have one question for you. And I said, what? He goes, why are they wrong? Why do you have to fight for the right to be right? I never thought about that. And he was able to change my perception that my philosophy for my own life, not for yours, but my philosophy immediately came with that statement that I then questioned everything that ever was told to me, including questioning the worst of them all, me. Are there concepts and thoughts and what we call limitations and blocks and being stuck and all these triggers? Is there all this stuff? Is that real stuff? Is that really true, real stuff? Or is it stuff that I put all together in a bad recipe to come up with my own thoughts and beliefs that I'm willing to fight for because I'm very passionate? And are they correct? And so now all of a sudden, you hear these things out there where all of a sudden you feel like you need to pick a side. Don't we automatically feel like we got to pick a side? So when I got involved in this industry, this is a no-brainer. No-brainer. I used to beat people up and go, listen, before I talk to you, I'm going to give you an IQ test. An IQ test. And they'd go, all right, bring it on. And I go, if there was a way for you to make more money than you're making today with less work by helping other people make money, would you be open? Well, that's a pyramid. I never even thought about this as I'm saying it to you guys. I love getting, dumps, spiritual dumps, I call them, downloads, you know what I mean? Is the same people that put the propaganda against marijuana and hemp, the cannabis plant, but yet had doctors that testified at the Senate and the Congress that tobacco is okay. There's nothing wrong with tobacco. That there was doctors way back when that said, doctors said that this is their favorite cigarette, that it calmed you down, that it's good for you. Are you kidding me? FDA approved. Oh my God. So I started questioning stuff, but I want to take perception one step further. Because, when I got taught this and I was going, oh my God, I'm going to sign up everybody. I'm going to sign up everyone. And you always see these media people, John Oliver last, where they draw out this math. I've seen John Stossel do this too. That if you brought in 2 and they brought in 2 and they brought in 2, by the time you get to whatever place, level, you've now recruited everyone in the world. And so eventually there's going to be a group of people that won't have anyone else to recruit because, listen closely, because everyone's already been recruited. Well, if you go on Google and you put into the population of the world, right? It's about ready to tip to 8 billion people. I think it's 7.9, 7.8. Let's just say over 7 billion, right? So what I started to do is I started rounding my numbers down so then no one could disagree with me. You see what I mean? It's called a closed-in statement would be, wouldn't you agree that there's like 330 million people in the United States? And people will go, now it's 320, now it's 315. Are you talking about legal citizens? Yeah, it's about 200. You get all these people that just go out of their frickin' mind. But if you can drop the number and say, there's probably about 7 billion people. Oh, yeah, there's definitely over 7. There's 7.8, there's 7.9. It's like, these are people that will fight for the right to be right instead of listening to you, right? And so I thought, oh my God, so people would come to me and say, what about saturation? And I would go, why don't you Google it? Do you know how many Christians there are in the world? About 1 billion. Well, what's the other 7 billion doing? Well, what about Jews? What about Muslims? What about Buddhists? What about Hindus? Mormons? All the other ones, 460,000 registered religions in the United States. So which one's wrong? Which one's right? And then all of a sudden, the people that I started hanging around, they were saying that the older they got, the wiser they become, which wisdom comes from making mistakes. Did you guys catch that? From making mistakes. That's where wisdom comes from. Is the more that they become wise, the more they don't know. The more questions that they have. So the reason I wanted to do this one, and I'm going to do ones and following this on imagination, intuition, reason, memory, will, the 6 higher faculties that we need to work on, very, very, very strong. And so I'm going to talk on each one of them in depth. And so when I realized that the most intelligent people on the planet can actually, without interruption, actually listen to another person's point of view, understanding that it comes from their environment, it comes from their programming, and it doesn't have to be right or wrong. Because a person can listen to someone else's point of view and not have it change theirs, or have to fight for the right to be right. See, these are where people comes out with opinions, and I know that they don't know. So the people that scare me the most on the planet right now are people go, no, I know. I know what I'm about ready to share with you is the fact. And the other reason I wanted to teach these 6 higher faculties is because they help you become a better human being, a better human doing, which when you become better, you'll stop labeling and start judging people and stop trying to fight for your right and make everybody wrong. No one wants to work with a person that takes their ideas and programming and wants to press it on the other people. Right? So I know people's opinions and stuff, and like I seen this cool post is that, wow, I scrolled through social media today and I seen an opinion that was different than mine, and I didn't reply. I didn't do anything. I just moved on. And so I love each and every one of you. This is a way to sort of put us in a place where we're beating ourselves up. And what if, just what if, as you move forward, if someone doesn't agree with the product that you're marketing? What if someone doesn't agree with the way that you market it? What if there was a way that regardless of what person came to you with their thoughts, their beliefs, the right way, and that right way to do the business? It's like you just go, okay, smile and say, I really appreciate you sharing that with me. That's it. And then it's like, the phrases that we hear is by their fruit you will know them. It's looking at people that really, really are connected in a higher state, that are peaceful, that are focused on love, that's focused on helping people feel better. That's my goal, is to meet people and help them inspire to be better people, so that they can lead by example and change this world, instead of everyone getting together to go fight against another group that is who knows if they're right or wrong. So anyway, there's the power of perception. I will leave you with this one thing I just thought of too. Believe it or not, learned this from Bob Proctor. So Bob Proctor, thank you very much. But he would say that he would write down whatever his problem was, whatever he was irritated with. He would write it down. And he would sit down and dump all this anger and frustration and jealousy and hatred and all this stuff. He would just write it down on a piece of paper, and he would leave it on his desk. And then he said he would get up and he would sit on the opposite side of his desk, not turning the paper around, but just asking himself, are there people on the planet that have a different perception than his? Okay? What is their perception? Then there's a third perception. The third perception is a person that sits in that other third that looks at both of the people and go, they're both nuts. That is not right, and that is not right. So they're like a referee sitting in the middle of a person, like they do, what is that called? Instead of jury, mediation, right? So you sit down with people and they hear both sides, but they're supposed to be unbiased. And they're trying to find a happy medium of, I understand that point of view, I understand that point of view, but what if we mix this together? Which, by the way, we know is lost in government today, right? You just vote down party lines. But there's a fourth perspective. So only if you believe in a higher power, what would be that perception? What would you believe that perception is? And for me, I'm not saying for you, it always turns out to be the same thing. You guys are really having this discussion? It's like, are you kidding me? Why are you having this discussion? Just love each other, support each other, encourage each other, and lead by example. Be the person that makes other people's lives happier when you're around them, instead of when they see you on caller ID or see you on Facebook or social media or whatever. They see you in a room, they're going, if I get around that person, they're going to suck the energy and the joy and the happiness right out of me. All right? So that's the point of perception. Please share this with everyone that you think that this would help, because in my opinion, again, it's my opinion, which means there's two other perceptions that are not that opinion. Some of the most unhappiest people on the planet are individuals that grab onto beliefs that they don't know that are true, but they believe that they're true enough where they're willing to fight and kill for it. And they're not open in any way, shape, or form of listening to anybody else's thoughts or opinions. You know, those are called the radical, the 0.9%. So, you know, share this, because once my perception opened up and I started thinking about the other three ways that other people would think about it, it was funny how fast I either found a solution to what I was doing, or I immediately got past that block. Here's one, you know, hey, you know, it's going to take a long time to be successful. Untrue. So all these limiting beliefs that we have, they're actually just programming and us trying to validate that if it took other people a long time to do it, it's also going to take me. But if you understand where people are coming from as far as perceptions, then you wouldn't be so hard on them. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you try this product? What are you, an idiot? Why wouldn't you try this product? See, why wouldn't you get in this business? It's like, it's always amazing. So I love and appreciate you. Please share this. Again, if you want some more information, go to roberthollis.com/free. You also can click on training, and that will take you directly to my YouTube channel, and also my videos that I've had over the years that are both on my Facebook profile and my business profile. So I love and appreciate you. See you tomorrow at the same time, noon Pacific time, and take care and have a wonderful, new, happy perception, you know, to be able to listen to other people and not have it upset you or trigger you, that you're 100% control of your emotions. What a concept, huh? Bye. Love you, and I believe in you, and I know you can do it.